Good afternoon, good evening, whatever. I'm on a wild camp. I'm going to be heading up with the Hammock today, and good news, I'm not anywhere near the highway. You can probably hear background noise. There is a train line nearby. This is actually the woodland where I did the day camp, Hammock camp, and the Polish Army MRE review. Today I'm not camping inside there. Remember, I found some people camping in there. I think that they're rough sleepers. I think they sleep there all the time. So they're located somewhere on that side, kind of far away. I'm not going to go in there today. I'm going to head near behind me. There is some willows that haven't really put up full leaf yet, so get a bit of a sky view. And that's that. I'm on my bike today. Rolled in. I've got about another hour of sunshine left, so to be honest, I need to get cracking because clouds are rolling in, so that might obviously bring down the sunshine a bit. Let's give you some quick survival tips, something I just figured out now, you know. If you're heading to a spot to camp, you know, and let's say you don't even know where you're heading, or if you do know where you're heading, you know, you don't know if you don't know where you're heading, you don't know exactly what time you're going to arrive at the exact same location, right? So keep an eye, no matter where you are, for resources, edibles, harvestable wood, things like that. Simply because it takes time to set everything up, your shelter, whatever it is that you're organizing. And once everything's organized and you want to look for resources like food, it's obviously not the best thing when you run out of sunlight and all that. So I know pretty far back I had a lot of goose grass, which I was going to add into my stew tonight, and I cannot find any now. So it looks like I'll only be able to use hawthorn leaves, which is plenty around. There's some right there, and nettle, which is quite a few at the base where I'm camping, so that's pretty cool. And obviously before you set up camp, just scout out the area. There are 2 footpaths through this area. This is made by foxes, I'm pretty sure. Very little chance of people actually coming through here. This is way too dense. I'm going to go between these 2 over here. The issue is I have a tarp which is a 3 by 4.5, so I'm going to probably have to fold down one side to be able to fit between here. Obviously the hammock will stretch, the hammock will be quite happy there, but you know, I've had to hack back a little bit on the dog rows. Unfortunately, you know, some dead branches off of this salix over here, and obviously some top growth, so I don't want to damage the new top. It's not that new, I bought it quite a while ago, but I've never used it. It's a DD 4.5 by 3. So before we lose all the sunshine, we're quite lucky to actually catch the sunshine like this today. It wasn't showing up on the weather report at all. So before that's lost, let me get cracking with the setup. See you in a minute. So there we have it. I played around with 2 or 3 other positions, and it just didn't work. I folded the guy in half over itself to make it like 2 point something meters by 3 or whatever, and yeah, no, that didn't work very well. It was okay, but it was going to be really, I wanted one side down like this, so if I needed to have my fire inside, it'd be, you know, at least from over there where the paths are, if anyone is actually going to go there, which I seriously doubt, then I'd have a bit of cover. And then I'll open on that side because that's south facing and I want to see a bit of sunshine. Hey! Anyway, so huge mess in there because obviously we're losing that light. How's that for a nice sunset? There was quite a bit of orange and pastel pinks and stuff going on earlier, but I had to get on with this stuff. And anyway, good thing I didn't film earlier because there's a bunch of kids in the park earlier with scrambler bikes. So Hammock is going to go between that tree and here. I have extra rope from the guy line, so if I need to I can stretch the hammock a bit further. But I'm just really happy with this setup. So it's not scheduled to rain at all today, but just in case. But it's definitely going to be really cold, so I'll give you an update. I did write down the temperatures and everything for tonight. Alright, there's the setup. I know it's pretty dark by now. Let me throw the head torch on quick. So tarp's up, everything's good. Here's the thing I was saying in my previous videos, the handmade underquilt for my sleeping bag. For those of you who haven't watched this yet, watch previous videos. I can't afford underquilt right now, so this is my old sleeping bag that I used to use before. It's a double sleeping bag. I've just tied it up using paracord on the ends right underneath where the straps are. And that's purely just to keep the wind off of my back. Tonight is going to be pretty low temperatures, really low. So I'm also wearing the Swedish Army M90, like Arctic style pants. I've also brought some, might not be necessary, but I brought some thermal layers as well, fleeces and stuff, one extra blanket in a sleeping bag, and I'm definitely not going to kick out of this one if I get quite cold, simply because I'm not working tomorrow as well, so I don't mind if I don't sleep very well tonight. So it's just all about the experience, isn't it? So I got my bike over there, loads of space in here. I mean, it's actually, I'm quite happy that I bought this, paid the extra and bought this one. I mean, sure, I might buy a 3x3 meter, just for ease, because like today obviously I messed around quite a lot trying 2 or 3 different positions before I found this. It's all about the trees, the distances and everything. So I'll just get everything set up. As you can see, it's obviously quite messy over here. There it is. So that's this is the hammock here, this Digicam one. Mosquito net. It's a really good hammock, I really enjoy it. We'll see. See how it's tied on there. I've just taken a paracord, made a ball with the ends of the sleeping bag and tied it really tight. This one is going around there on the mosquito net, and then I think I tied again. There's the paracord running up there to the carabiner and coming back around. Then ensures it doesn't come off there. And the other end, this is where my feet are. That one's not really tied up the same way because it's not the same length as the hammock. So it ends over here. I'm gonna put a couple stuff bags in there to close up the hole. No drafts. I know that an underquilt is supposed to go right under your back, but there's not much I can do about this sag over here unless I decide to possibly fold it over twice. But what's nice is once I get into this, it sinks down a lot further in. So there's the tarp in there. I've just gone out to where the trees end, and it's pretty dark, you know, right now, so it hardly stands out here. And the path that people sometimes take is like at least a good 20 meters at least behind me, so it probably wouldn't stand out at all. It doesn't sound like a fox to me. Type of bird? I don't know, you guys in the countryside will know. So, according to the Met Office, there's a low of 1 degrees tonight. There's 33 degrees Fahrenheit for you guys in North America and whatnot. The feels like temperature is -2 degrees Celsius. That's 28 degrees Fahrenheit. The wind, we're looking at 5 miles an hour low, which is about 8 kilometers per hour, and a 19 miles an hour high, which is 30 kilometers per hour, with 88% humidity. So, one thing I just want to tell the people overseas who don't have an issue with humidity or don't know much about it. When you're in a country that's cold and the humidity goes high, the coldness is more penetrating. So I had a friend from Latvia. I worked with him as a colleague, and he told me in Latvia it's like -20 degrees Celsius. That's like the average winter temperature, which is -4 degrees Fahrenheit. And he was saying like he'd walk to school in snow that's like waist high and all that stuff. But he says that when he's here and it's like -1, -2, -3, it's much colder here, because it's not Latvia is a dry cold, whereas here it's a wet cold. It's a damp, humid cold. And he says it's much worse. And then I've spoken to people from Poland who have very similar temperatures, and they say the same thing. They're like, that's pain in the ass living here, and getting as cold as this. It's like -2, -3, -5, -6, and it feels like it's -40 or something. Anyway, wow, this stuff is smelling good. So, I also wanted to give out a couple shout outs. The first one is Joel from the Filipino Mountaineers Society. He's a Filipino guy, but he works and lives in Hong Kong, and he's been doing kind of like hiking, camping and all that stuff for many years now. Just swing by, take a look at his channel. The reason why I'm giving him a big shout out is mainly because he's recently had quite a bad situation. He's been like diagnosed with gout arthritis. So he spent like a whole week just lying down. Don't know if he's in hospital or something. And he says like now when he walks like an old man. And he's an outdoorsman, so it's quite sad that that's happened to him, because he likes his hiking, he's climbing and whatever, and camping and all that. So just get well, man. Hopefully everyone just swing by his channel, have a look, send him wishes and have a look at his videos. The other one is Lee from Burton Outdoors. Just to give a big shout out. You're always coming over to my channel and giving comments and checking my stuff out, and you're an awesome guy. Thanks for that. So if you don't know Burton Outdoors, it's Lee. Just go have a look at the channel. Done lots of wild camping down south of England. It's a worthwhile check. It's a good channel, good content. Same with Joel from Filipino Mountaineers Society. It's really good content as well. Yeah, just the smell of the curry powder, the Madras mild curry powder, as well as the garam masala. It's coming out there with the steam. It's freaking awesome, man. A few more minutes, then I'm going to remove the chicken, put it on a plate, and just like either pull it apart with my fingers or maybe slice it up a bit. Then I'm going to head over to start chopping up the swede, chuck that in there. And then I forgot to mention, I've got egg noodles, but Eastern European, Polish ones. I've got a few sunflower seeds to throw in there, and what's the other one? Bulgur wheat. So I'll throw the bulgur wheat in kind of soon, I think. So while I'm waiting for the food to get ready and boiled up, I'm going to dig into some biltong. That's South African style jerky, if you want to call it that. This is venison. It's kudu, which is an antelope from Africa, Southern Africa at least. And yeah, bought it in Wimbledon at the train station. first piece I had in this pack hardly had any flavor, but the rest have just been spectacular. It's good stuff. Give it a shot. Sting in a needle. So now I didn't film everything, but so the swede went in, the bulgur wheat, then sunflower seeds, then now a few minutes ago I put in the Polish egg noodles, and then the nettles now, and then a bit more salt, pepper, and lunchtime. I'll have a nice fire in the morning, chow breakfast, film around, do a few things, whatever. So yeah, I'm going to dig into the food soon. I've taken it off. This is the Lixada 10 centimeter. What I'm doing is I have a hot water bottle. I don't want to show it now anyway. Got a hot water bottle that's going to be my back warmer, and so anyway, the water inside there, I heated it from home, put inside there, and then I'm using the Lixada to reheat the water. Let's see if that helps for tonight. So yeah, that's it. See you in the morning. So, good morning, and it really is a good morning. So, first successful hammock camp, plus first setup of my DD tarp, and there's a site over there. I had a really good night. Like I said, I'm not actually pressed for time today, so I'll be able to chill out here a bit and make a fire quite soon. This time it's going to be a stick fire, and just enjoy myself a bit more, just because also especially this is a lot further away from home than my other locations. So my brother bought me this personalized hip flask. It's like laser etched, so there's, if you can see it, yeah, you can see it. So the writing says, "And into the forest I go, to lose my mind and find my soul." It's pretty cool. Got some sherry in here. It's a South African brand called Cedric's. It's been around for a couple hundred years, I think it is. And yeah, it's the go-to brand when you want to warm yourself up. So had a few swigs of this last night just before I went to bed. It's always a good, satisfying feeling. As soon as sherry goes down your throat, even straight as it goes on your tongue, you just feel that warmth going on you. Yep. So hammock setup, day view. As you can see over there, I've tied up my other sleeping bag as an underquilt. Let's take a look at how I did that. Nothing special. I just got the two ends up over the end of the hammock, tied them pretty tightly, and then with the same paracord ran it through to the carabiner and back. And that's where I keep my head anyway, so on one hand I could have actually slid it down, because I noticed last night my feet were quite cold. Obviously the sleeping bag does not reach all the way, it goes up till there, so my feet being up there were pretty cold. Yeah, anyway, did a bit of manipulation last night, more ropes, more pulling and all that, and I managed to actually get that further up. He was sagging a lot more last night. Let's move the quilt out so you can actually get a better look at my hammock. I think the new footage of my hammock so far is really the daytime camp, and then which I actually had it flipped over, because the manufacturer recommends that if you want to just like swing in it, you better turn it over so the mosquito net doesn't get damaged. It's a Digicam, but it is parachute material. It's really strong and very nice. You can feel it's a really good quality build, and I spent like 16-17 UK pounds on that, and honestly it's like really high quality for that price. I can't believe you can buy something for such a low price, and that was including shipping, I think from China. So it is made in China, but sometimes people stock them here and sell them here. So my usual setup. This is the stuff bag, so it hangs on the side of the hammock and doubles as a pocket. Put essential things in there. Woohoo! Yeah, you know, like the knife goes in here. If you got an axe, I throw out. Lately I've been bringing in my Bulgarian carving axe, just so I have something if I need to do some kind of chopping or whatnot, splitting. It's really small. I don't know the weight of it. It was handmade. Really sharp, but sometimes you just don't want to carry your main hatchet with you. My main one, the head weighs 800 grams. I can't remember how much that is in ounces. But then there's the handle as well, so it could easily be weighing between 900 and 1 kilo. So it's not justified in today's session. And of course you got the mosquito nets, and then the guy lines outside for that. So over there I throw in my socks. Then I've got the Dutch Army sleeping bag liner, which actually feels kind of cold when you use it. So anyway, obviously once it warms up, it's an extra layer. And then I'll just have a very nice little blanket from home. I have brought the wool blanket with me on my first ever attempt at hammock camping. I brought the wool blanket with me, and it just made it feel so tight in here. You know, it just, I don't know, I didn't like it really. So I'm not going to bring a wool blanket again. That's what I have inside. Oh, and then obviously there's the hot water bottle in a little fancy, still feels warm, pretty nice. And if I had 2 of these last night, it would have been a pretty good sleep, because I don't know why, but just my feet up there were really cold. I just thought I'd show you a new method I have for that I thought of right now for like getting the fire going in a stick stove. What I used to do quite a lot was I used to avoid putting the hob grill on top, because I wanted to get the fire going, and then you have to get gloves on to put the grill on. I know how to do it without the gloves, but just like, you know, anyway. So what you do is just get your sticks put in there at the right fashion. So you want all your smaller twigs kind of at the bottom if you can. By the way, so I've been into bushcraft and wild camping now for more than 6 months, and I wanted to hold off for as long as I could. I wanted to not light anything with either unnatural tinder or unnatural fire, lighting technology. So well, I know a ferrocerium rod is not natural, but just it leans more towards survival and whatever. In other words, you need skills to use a ferrocerium rod. If you can't just get it right the first strike, So I didn't want to use any lighters, didn't want to use any matches and things like that. But I held off for that long, never ever lit a single fire without a ferrocerium rod, or without using birch bark or some kind of weird tinder. So now, the issue here, the way I'm stacking this now, is obviously good for lighting, good for the fire to actually progressively burn through. The issue now is how you're going to get the fire started. Marshmallow fire starter method. So here's a cotton ball that I've soaked in petroleum jelly, and all I'm going to do is impale it onto a stick. Once you got it there, you just get it lit, force it in. I know I'm always going on about the stove like it's the best thing in the world, but I never realized this until the other day. You can use this to strike your ferrocerium rod. That's the little hob grill. So for any of you out there who's into budget bushcraft, and let's say you purchase your first knife is a Mora, and then you find out you can't use the back of the Mora to strike a ferrocerium rod, just buy this stove as your first twig stove. You know, they were like, I bought this for like 13-14 British pounds, and you got your fire striker there on the stove in the kit. What is it with fires, you know? You're doing an urban wild camp and there's smoke everywhere. So you're trying to be all stealth, and there's people walking through a park and there's smoke coming out of a bush, and they're just like, yeah, rough sleepers, you know, better report this to the council. And then when you go somewhere where there's like, you know, the closest person to you is probably like 300 meters away, if that. And then you manage to make a pretty good fire, like no smoke, hardly any smoke, even though you got lichen all over the wood. So we're going to get the coffee brew on. I'm going to quickly throw I've got some stuff I want to soak before I make my porridge. So let this soak for like a half hour. It's chia seeds and I think, chia and amaranth. And then I've got just normal thick rolled oats. It's going to be my breakfast today. So breakfast this morning is going to be, I'm going to use my Pathfinder canteen cook set. I'm going to be I'm just going to soak, I'm going to pre-boil we've got the chia seeds and grain amaranth. I'm going to soak that a bit, boil that for maybe like 10 minutes or so, maybe 15, and then I'll throw the oats in. And they need like 10 minutes of boiling to be processed. But one thing about getting a canteen cooking pot like this is when you get the handle that folds underneath. Pathfinder is pretty good because when you're on bumpy terrain like I am now, the handle stopped it from falling over, so you just got to put it at the right angle. I'm not going to eat it this thick. I'm going to add just a little bit more water to this. Just trying to get it cooked, you know. Oh, I'm really thoroughly enjoying myself. I know probably in my voice it doesn't sound like it, but I really am. I'm gonna spend like my plan at least is to like spend an hour where I don't touch the camera. I got a little notebook, just write down things, clear my head a bit, ideas and whatever, not just for the channel but generally in life. And yeah, no, it's been wonderful today, really. We had a bit of cloud cover earlier and just made it look like the day's gonna go totally sour, which I didn't mind. I mean, hey, I had a wild camp, so that's a very, very successful weekend when you have a good one. And yeah, breakfast is finished. Still got a little bit of my coffee mixture thing that I made. I made like a malt mocha hybrid, don't know what. Tasted pretty good. And yeah, like I said, write down a few things, chill out, enjoy, and then do a slow pack up in about an hour or so, and then just head out. So regarding the tarp, I'm pretty impressed with the quality. It's very thin but very powerful, very strong material. They've reinforced it on everywhere where there's a loop or a strap to be able to tie it in however weird manipulative way you want to do it. They've really reinforced it pretty good. So DD, I'd say it's a quality product, so it's worth the money. Alright, so just doing a little bit of de-rigging, packing a few things away just so that less to worry about when I decide time to go. This is it. If you really can't afford to go on holidays, you fly to other countries in the world, and you just can't afford the plane tickets and stuff. You hear your friends who are a bit more wealthier than you but better off, and telling you about, oh, we were on a beach in Thailand, lying on sun lounges, pina coladas and all that stuff, and it was great, and you just don't have the money for that. This is the alternative. I mean, I go overseas. I'm going overseas this year. I'm heading off to that part of the world that I just spoke about. Not exactly Thailand, but I'm going to keep it a surprise because I'm going to be doing videos and stuff. So something to look out for. It's going to be quite fun. And I have done it before. It is great. It's really good to get away from city life and head off on a holiday where you just live on hotels and on beaches and beach resorts and stuff and all that. But really, if you can't afford to do that, surely you can put over a year's period, dedicate a couple £100, few £100, buy yourself this 17-pound hammock, get yourself a tarp. You don't even have to get a good tarp. My first tarp was this is a DD, but this one's kind of expensive. This one's like 30-something pounds. My first tarp was £8 something, it was a 2.5 by 3 meter, I think, which is perfect for well, it's not great, but it's it'll cover you and stop you from getting rained on. Then just a backpack, and then just a couple of maps, explore your area, find out where you can go and do this. Just so peaceful. But I've also chosen a good spot because all I have to do is put my hand on here, give myself a swing. Another shout out quickly. I don't know how to pronounce your surname, mate, but John Clenfoldy, he's either a moderator or he's the owner of the group on Facebook called Polish and Hungarian Lovers Worldwide or something. Anyway, I know I'm in a hammock right now, mate, but don't worry, I'm not going to give up on the Lavu. Just I was desperate to get out and have a successful hammock camp, and this is the first one. I've gone out twice before, and I left early. Got up super early and just left because I was too cold, or I just wasn't comfortable enough. But this spot over here is definitely going to see a live pretty soon. I'm pretty sure my next wild camp. Yeah, I might head out in the live on the next one. We'll see anyway, because this is comfortable, and I still want to play around with tarp configurations and all that. Here's a decent little patch of stinging nettle. I cut some of this and I had it in my my curry soup thing that I had last night. It's just a very nutritious plant. Make use of it wherever you are in the world if you have this plant, and you can actually handle it with your fingertips. Obviously if I just grab it there, I will get stung, but you can grab it on your fingertips like this. Now I have gardener's hands because I work as a landscape gardener, so it could be possible that it's not penetrating my skin, but the tips definitely don't have the little hairs on that snap off and sting you. I've been hearing woodpeckers all day. There we go, finally. Every time I get the camera on, they just disappear. Now they're on this side. Last time they were way back there. You know, the wind is picking up right now. From time to time, a few little gusts coming through. Yeah, it was really nice because the willow branches are all tapping against each other. It's quite a soothing sound. Would have been nice if that happened last night, but I think they would have made the temperature way colder. Yeah, so hawthorn is edible. The young hawthorn leaves. Hopefully you can see that. When you first taste them, there's kind of like no serious flavor going on, and then it gets kind of spicy towards the end. Not super spicy. There's kind of like a salady taste in there, slight but stronger. I'm sure some people would be like, I don't like the taste of that, it tastes poisonous or whatever, but you know, when you eat things on their own, that's a time that you will say, I don't like that, but mix it up into a salad and it's just an extra flavor going on in there.